and 9. Read.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 14, verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, coming together of good things. Salakia, communing together of good things. And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Right. The ancient men sat in the street. The elders would sit in the street. Wow. Niggas just need attention that badly. The ancient men, the elders, would sit in the street communing of good things. You know, talking about good things. Talking about Israel. Talking about the progression of our people. Talking about once we get out this wicked kingdom and back to the righteous kingdom. The ancient men sat and communed of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Right.
And we got a lot of good, strong young men in H.O.I, New York, New Jersey. And given the necessity to do so, these men, these young, strong men we got in the camp will put on glorious and warlike apparel.
That's right.
Ain't nobody coming to camp in no tight jeans. Men will get rebuked. Read.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 29.
Yeah.
The glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head.
Right. The glory of young men is their strength. And like I said, I'm very glad that we got a lot of good, strong young brothers in H.O.I. The glory of young men is their strength. And the glory of old men is the gray head.
Wisdom.
Right, the wisdom. You know, the elders, the young men are for the strength, and the elder men are for the wisdom. And that's how it's supposed to go. And unfortunately, in our nation, you got a lot of these older men that are off too. Like on Facebook, they got this elder man that's doing some type of rap to Meg Thee Stallion's classy savage bougie. The elder Jake raps to that beat. And well, in all honesty, the man's a better rapper than some of these dudes in the game now.
Right.
But yeah, and also you got Bishop Bullwinkle talking about hell no to the no. Now I think about it, and not really that there's anything wrong with that, because that's my response to a lot of the stuff I see out here. Hell no to the no. Hell emphatically no. So, but that's what we got out here. And you know what it is? What the so-called white man is trying to do, because they know that the young men are the strength, they trying to take our young brothers and they trying to break them down. That's why there's such an influx of homosexuality in our community. That's why Canberra can put up billboards on damn Fulton Street and Utica Avenue talking about support your gay child. Because the Bible don't tell you to support your gay child.
Right.
The Bible, according to the Bible, your child ain't even supposed to be gay. Proverbs 22:6. Because according to the Bible, we supposed to raise our children, especially our young men. We supposed to raise our young men up to be strong, to be strong just as men, period. But what we are especially supposed to do is to raise our young men up to be strong in these scriptures. And as I've said before, but I'll say it again, that's exactly what happened. Look at our young men now.
Right.
Look what they want to turn our young men into.
Wow.
Aria, we can't make this stuff up. We truly can't. Duly noted. I don't know what it is. See, that's how we came up with that. It's like every time we teach and we speak about something, seconds later it manifests.
Right.
But like the brother read in Proverbs, the glory of the young men is their strength. But the so-called white man is so paranoid about losing his kingdom that he doesn't, the so-called white man is so paranoid about losing his kingdom that what he doesn't want is for our young men to realize their strength. The so-called white man doesn't want our young men to realize their strength. That is why you find that is why you can see a young so-called black man walking down the street in a damn corset or a bustier. You see the young black man walking down the street in a corset with makeup and purple hair, looking abominable as hell. That's what they want for all of our young men.
Right.
Because what they're thinking is, if all of our young men are jacked up like that, then they don't have to worry about the young men rising up to take them out of power. That's why they push the homosexual agenda so much, because they figure if all of our young men are broken down and all of our young men are effeminate as hell, then they don't have to worry about our young men becoming young warriors for this kingdom. And you know what? Also, that's why they took the fathers out of our households.
Right.
Because they know that had that dude grown up with a father, that was about his business, he wouldn't be looking like that now. Proverbs 22:6. That's one reason why they knew when it came to Willie Lynch programming. That is why one of the first tenets of Willie Lynch programming was take the father out of the household. Take the black man. Ruin the image of the strong black man. Take the black man out of the household. That is one of the first tenets of Willie Lynch programming.
So his son could drive a loud-ass Jeep.
Right. Because the reason why he's driving that Jeep with that loud music is for attention. And trying to get attention is a feminine trait. That's a feminine characteristic. Shalom. Right. A lot of these dudes get raised by women and they do stuff like that. Or you'll hear 30 dirt bikes. You'll hear 30 dirt bikes coming across 34th Street because these Negroes are trying to seek attention. But men that are men and don't really do that, men don't seeking attention like that really isn't a masculine trait. Dudes is like, whatever.
Yeah, that's how you smoke it up.
That's how you smoke it up.
Ariana?
You can't make this stuff up.
You know what I'm gonna say.
Right.
You know what I'm gonna say. We can't make this stuff up.
Sabol is a midnight prophet.
Right.
Midnight prophet. No midnight train to Georgia.
Right.
Midnight prophet. We just
You speak it and come out.
the attention seeking.
It's out in the uniform.
Proverbs 6:22, 22 and 6. Read.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6.
Bring it out.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So that's what we men in the truth, those of us that are fathers, it is our job to take our sons and train them up in this truth and train them to be young warriors for the Most High. And that's the main reason why the so-called white man took the fathers out of the black households. They're trying to destroy our army before we can even have one.
Right.
Because the so-called white man knows that the so-called black man is the biggest threat. That's the biggest threat to his continued dominance of this country and of this world.
That's right.
So they trying to have as many of us gone as possible. They trying to take us out the running before we can even get in the running. They want to have every single young black man in America looking like Magic Johnson's son.
Right.
Or damn Dwayne Wade's son.
Right.
How the hell you gonna let your son be 12 years old and decide he wants to be a girl?
Right.
That is definitely not Proverbs 22:6. Right. Train up a child in the way he should go. No. You don't right, like the brother said, that ain't it. You don't let your damn son decide he wants to be a girl.
Right.
You supposed to be training your child up, not letting them decide they want to go off into some ill chamber. Get Sirach 30 verse 3. What the hell is going on, man? What and when these brothers do stuff like this, what they may or may not realize is you playing right into the white man's hands. Every young black man that's turned the hell out and effeminate as hell, that's one less competitor for the so-called white man. That's one less young brother that he got to worry about becoming a soldier in the Most High's army. So yeah, when these dudes do that, they play right into the so-called white man's hands, whether they realize it or not, because that's how the so-called white man wants all young black men, because we are their biggest threat and we are their greatest enemy. So if a whole bunch of us are turned the hell out, every single young black man that's turned the hell out, every single young black man that's gay is one less Negro for him to worry about. And that's exactly why they took the fathers out of the household. And with the black fathers out of the household, it's a lot more of these dudes that are homos. Read.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Right. He that teaches his son grieveth the enemy. And that's exactly what the so-called white man doesn't want. The so-called white man doesn't want the men of our nation teaching our sons, because we teach our sons these laws, statutes, and commandments. We teach our sons this truth. We teach our sons that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, and that's going to grieve the hell out of them. Continue. See? The white man doesn't want you teaching your son about the Sabbath.
Right.
Because if those dudes was in this truth and they knew anything about the Sabbath, they would be either over here with us in the battlefield, or if not, they would be home somewhere,
Right.
studying their scriptures. But no, they driving up 6th Avenue seeking attention. Continue.
It's the book of Sirach. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him. So when you teach your son, you grieve your enemy and your friends rejoice. Read, like you're like, oh yo, that's like, yo, you know, chip off the old, oh, that's your son, chip off the old block, you know, yeah, you know, that's like, yeah, that's a good, you know, he's a good kid, that's a good young man. Nice, you know, conducts himself well behaved, everybody's speaking good on your son. Read.
Verse 4. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Right. So even when the father dies, if he teaches the son correctly, even when the father dies, it's like he never did die. Read.
For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
Right. For he left one behind him that is like himself. Continue.
Verse 5. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left, verse 6, he left behind him an avenger against his enemies.
Right. And that's what the so-called white man is afraid of.
Right.
That's exactly what the white man doesn't want.
Right.
They don't want us in the house teaching our sons to be men of this truth, because what they don't want is, even if we die, if we have sons, if we die, then our sons can come and avenge us. Or even if they don't avenge us, at the very least, they can keep this truth going. And that, Tobit is off the set.
Right.
So what they don't want is somebody, they want us to die, but what they don't want is somebody coming behind them to avenge us, or at least to keep this truth going. That's what the so-called white man doesn't want. That's why they don't want us teaching our sons. And that is also why they don't want the black man in the house. That was the first tenet of Willie Lynch programming. Get rid of that black man. Get that black man out the house. Get rid of the image of the strong black man.
Right.
That's why the big strong brothers on the plantation were drawn and quartered in front of everybody. And that's why even today the so-called white man is breaking down big muscle-bound dudes like Terry Crews. You got a big old muscle-bound, used to play football. Terry Crews used to play pro ball. And I'm looking, I got disappointed. I was like, damn, man, that big dude, all in muscles, and you letting some damn white man touch on your genitalia at a party. What the hell is going on? Right, I was like, yeah, why am I like, dude, you should have, like, dude, you should have two-pieced him right there and knocked out a few of his teeth.
That was the thrill, that he won't do it.
Right.
That was a thrill for Esau. That
See,
he won't
that's
do
the
it.
and that's the perversion of the, see, that's the perversion, the unmitigated gall, and the entitlement of the so-called white man.
Right. That
he can grab a big muscle-bound dude like that by his rod and won't get the doo-doo knocked out of him. And then he's like, what is some, and then Terry Crews like, I would have lost everything if I'd have done. I'm like, man, listen, that's probably why I couldn't have been in Hollywood. Right. Because if I'm at a party with my wife and some damn white man is grabbing on my private parts, pause, he's getting strangled. Right. Straight like that. Right. Like, I don't care if my agent says, don't you know who that was? That was I'm like, yo, listen. I said, I don't care how big of an executive that, like, listen, certain stuff just can't take place. Right. Because with me, it's like, however high up I ascend or whatever, it's like, you know, and see, that's what happens when you're raised correctly. When you come into the earth as a young man and you have a father, he instills certain things in you that you take with you no matter where you go. Which is exactly what didn't happen with him. Right. But see, that's the thing about the so-called white man. Not only the unmitigated gall, but the perversion of the so-called white man. Right. Why you want to be I mean, damn, if it's gonna be like that, I'd rather have Donald Trump, where he's talking about grabbing women by the Asian. I'd rather have that. Even though that's off as hell too. Right. Yeah, right. But if I had to pick between the lesser of two evils, I mean, really.
I'm looking for UPS.
Yeah, word. I mean, really.
That's his cave woman anyway. He can do that to his cave woman.
Right. Right. Like I said, if I was, it wouldn't matter. And I actually at one point in my life was pursuing a career in Hollywood. I used to want to be an actor. Now, honestly, this was stuff I didn't think about, but I'm thinking about it now. I said, listen, if I'm at a party and I'm at an award show, I'm like, okay, you know, award show, cool. We all having a nice time, whatever. But then, if I feel some hand, I'm like, oh, that damn hand wouldn't have made it past my thigh before I'm jumping up, and next thing I know, My forearm is deep in this cracker's throat. And it's like, yo, certain things just can't take place.
Right.
But that is why we as a people have to get out of Hollywood. We got to get away from these people and away from their evil and their wickedness. And we got to come back to the Most High. So I'm going to bring around Revelation 18:4, and this is going to be it. Read. Like I said, like the brother next to me said, if I was at a party and some man did that, hey, I'd be working for UPS, or FedEx, or DHL, or whatever. I'm sorry, but my movie career, my entertainment career would just have to be over at that point. Because, I mean, really, what profited a man if he shall gain the whole world yet lose his own soul?